Alright guys, in this video we are going to be discussing why the Behemoth Titan, in my opinion, renders all but maybe one other Titan subclass absolutely pointless and very unenjoyable to play in PvP. So strap yourselves in. We are also going to be referencing the article today that was posted in Polygon, an interview with Luke Smith, where, you know, not his best interview, I would say. Who's the PR guy at Bungie like? Preparing these answers and questions, because it is just ham-fisted in my opinion. That's how I would describe that interview. But basically, I'm a Titan main. You guys all know me. Ward of Dawn, suppressor grenades, bubbles. But this season we've been kinda icy because, very simply put, Stasis Titan is just so much more enjoyable and more powerful in almost every conceivable way to any other Titan class, that it makes even someone as dedicated as I am to one specific subclass, my entire channel, everything about it, the identity, the branding, it's all been about Ward of Dawn, Void Titan, right? But the truth is, I don't really see myself maining Void Titan anymore. And I know that's going to be disappointing for some of you guys to hear. Don't get me wrong, I'm still going to make videos using a Sentinel. But in terms of my, day-to-day play, in terms of like, I'm trying to help someone in trials, I can no longer safely run that subclass without expecting to get absolutely annihilated by Stasis. There are just certain things. Now we're going to get into the first thing. It's the movement, basically. Sentinel Titan movement compared to Stasis Titan movement is absolutely abysmal. Let's break it down. What can you do on Sentinel Titan to move around? You know, take out June Marches as well. No June Marches, by the way. Both subclasses without an exotic. What can you do? You can have a really short, slow slide. You've got really slow movement. You have basically no special abilities that allow you to move quickly or to outplay people with evasiveness. All you have is the wall. You've got a melee, you've got a grenade, and you've got a bubble. And it's not to say that it's not a good subclass. It's always been good. Those tools are good. But now that Stasis is in the game, if you're on a Sentinel Titan and someone throws a Duskfield grenade at you, you have one option only. Put up a barricade. That's all you can do. Drop your barricade. If you don't have your barricade, you're stuffed, you're screwed. And even if you do put up your barricade, you're still in the middle of an enemy grenade. They're going to be throwing other stuff in there. They're going to be shattering it. They're going to be sliding in there. They're going to be using the Hunter Shatter Dive. You know, you might get Warlock melee frozen. So many bad things can happen to you when you're inside that Duskfield grenade, right? But on a Stasis Titan, what do? You simply press your melee button, you use your Shiver Strike, and you hard counter the Duskfield and the slow. It's a hard counter. It feels good to use my ability to counter their ability. That feels good. But again, what do you do on another Titan? You get slowed, you can't move, you can't jump. It's very, very hard to counter. It's very, very unenjoyable to counter or to play against. Similarly speaking, I did a video showing Ward of Dawn up against Stasis Supers. The only Stasis Super that Ward of Dawn can reliably counter is the Hunter one. But if a Stasis Titan or Warlock wants to challenge that bubble, there is nothing you can do. That's right, there's nothing you can do. You have to time the suppressor grenade of a lifetime, maybe, but there's nothing you can do. Stasis Titan can literally Shiver Strike you out of the bubble, and that's it. GG. You get knocked out of the bubble, you're slowed, you can't move, and that's it, you're just dead. With a simple melee, the Stasis Titan can render your super completely irrelevant. Now, yeah, okay, we know that this is the case. We know that Stasis has come to the game and it's going to be better than everything else. But obviously, at some point down the line, we know that the light-based subclasses are going to get, aspects of their own in order to compete. But then we cut to Luke Smith's interview, and let me just pull it up here. This is what Luke Smith has to say. We only want to have one central system for supers. But as Bungie sets out to add new content, keep up with seasons, eventually add new darkness powers, and improve status over year 4, there isn't a planned release date for updated Arc, Solar, and Void supers. But on a long enough timeline, it's something Smith is passionate about. So these vague terms, they basically tell us nothing. And if you were to ask me, if I was to say when is the earliest you're going to see, improvements to the classic supers, you are looking at next fall DLC. So you basically got a full year of this current absolutely lopsided balance. Because when they say a long enough timeline, listen, it's so hard to know what they mean because they're so vague with their statements. And obviously, you know, he goes on to say, I can totally imagine it in Luke Fantasyland. Like, you know, likening updating these classes to your own personal fantasy makes it sound like it's a very far off thing. You know, people fantasize about things that they can't have. So does that mean, you know, like, it really is quite unsettling to read as a Destiny player, especially a PvP player. I'm sure the PvE guys as well, especially as a PvP guy. As I mentioned earlier, you know, the points I raised, Stasis renders the other Titan classes redundant. The only one I think that can hang is Bottom Tree Striker, because it has such a good neutral game. You've got Frontal Assault and you've got Knockout. Maybe you could say the same for Bottom Tree Hammer with Sunspots, perhaps, but they all suffer from the same issue. It's very, very difficult to counter Stasis abilities. Maybe with June Marchers, you've got increased slide, you can make something happen. If you're not using June Marchers, my goodness, you're at a huge disadvantage on a light-based Titan, just based on the difference in movement. On my Stasis Titan, I can get across the map in 1 second. It would literally take my Sentinel Titan about 8 seconds to cover the same distance. It's just a different game. It's like going from, you know how sometimes you'll play like a game, right? And like you start the game out with the character's all of his abilities unlocked. So you have all of the stuff this character can do, and then something happens in the story and the character gets annihilated, and then you come back and you've lost everything. That's what it feels like going from Behemoth to Sentinel. That's literally how it feels. It is absolutely... And the thing is as well, it's not like I'm asking for Stasis to be nerfed or for the Behemoth to be nerfed. Not even that. I'm not even talking about nerfing that. I'm just saying, you know, it's a real like, you know, issue that it makes all the other classes feel so bad to use. And on top of that, with this interview, it does not look like it's coming anytime soon. And then on top of that, he even goes on to talk about removing supers from the game. Don't you really like to remove things from the game at the moment? I don't know if someone wants to explain to me what that's all about, but they love taking stuff out of the game. Don't do that. Don't do that, guys. Please don't do that. Maybe if it's possible, prioritize the, you know, upgrade of the light-based classes above other things. I don't know what Bungie's priorities are at the moment. It seems to me, if you want my personal opinion, this is just complete speculation on my part. It seems to me that all hands on deck, different IPs and different projects, and it seems like Destiny 2 is not very high up on their list of priorities. So the final thing I want to say is manage your expectations. I don't think the light-based classes are getting changes anytime soon. A long enough timeline, to me that sounds like a year at least. And I know you guys like seeing me play Sentinel, and I really like playing Sentinel. Don't get me wrong though, I've been playing the same class for so long that it's been very fun and refreshing for me to play Behemoth Titan. The movement, the slide, you know, the ice wall grenade, being able to jump really high, and slide really far, can dodge in the air with the melee. It has everything that the other Titans have never had and have been lacking, you know, since the game came out. I think with Hunter, I still think Bottom Tree Arcstrider and Spectral Blades are okay, but again, I think the same thing applies for Hunter. The Stasis Hunter is better than the other ones. It just is. Now, the Warlock one has a competitor in the Dawnblade, Top Tree Dawnblade, which was so overtuned compared to everything else in the game prior to Stasis that it can actually hang with Stasis, which offers you some, you know, a level of variety, a small degree of variety seeing Dawnblades in the Crucible, but it's mainly just Stasis everywhere, and it seems like that's how it's going to be for quite some time to come. Anyway, guys, I want to know what your thoughts are. Keep it civil and respectful in the comment section. Let's not get mean about it. Let's just be, you know, grown-ups and have an interesting discussion. Don't forget to hit like on the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.